coincidence, if you will. And I don't believe in coincidence. But anyway, I found an article here that's quite interesting. I've actually got a couple to share with you guys. The first one is from popularmechanics.com. It's dated January 16th, 2019. It goes on to say scientists are planning a new particle collider that absolutely dwarfs the colossal LHC. And it's huge. And here's a picture of the LHC right here. This ring you see is the proposed new collider that they're wanting to build around the Large Hadron Collider. This thing is enormous. The proposed Future Circular Collider, that's the name of the new one, FCC, will be around 10 times as powerful as the Large Hadron Collider. Talk about an engineering marvel, a 100-kilometer ring. And that would absolutely dwarf the Large Hadron Collider. And it is the largest machine ever built, and scientists have used it to uncover all manner of secrets about the universe. And I also think these things are used for other things as well. But moving on, for all the time and energy that scientists have put into the LHC, plenty of the universe secrets are still eluding us. So, Cern, the organization that runs LHC, is planning to build a new particle accelerator that's even bigger. I mean, how much bigger do you need to go? And I say this with all due respect. How much bigger do you need to go to look for something so small? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. But nevertheless, that's the plan. The proposed accelerator has been given the future name Future Circular Collider. And if it ever gets built, it will dwarf the already gigantic LHC. The FCC is a gigantic ring more than 60 miles in circumference. That's 100 kilometers. And it's around 4 times larger than the LHC. When it's completed, again, assuming it gets built, it will be able to produce collisions 10 times more powerful than the LHC. The new collider was proposed as part of the ongoing discussions surrounding the course of the European particle physics in the upcoming decades. According to a report, development of the FCC will happen in 3 stages. The first stage will see the FCC collide electrons with positrons, and it goes on to talk about electrons with protons, and then protons to protons. And it's impossible to say for sure what these discoveries are going to be. The LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, that's where they discovered the Higgs boson particle. Now they're looking for something even smaller than that. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait a long time for this to happen. The FCC still has to be approved, and once that happens, construction could take years, and I'm sure it will, as big as this thing is. If everything goes according to plan, the accelerator will begin proton-to-proton collisions by 2050. We're talking 30 years down the road, 31 years. And it could take years after that to make any type of significant discoveries. So they're basically looking for particles smaller than the Higgs boson. Unbelievable. Here's 10 things from symmetrymagazine.org that you may not know about particle accelerators. Number 1, there are more than 30,000 accelerators operational in the world. I did not know that. I did not know this next one either. One of the longest modern buildings in the world was built for a particle accelerator. Talking about the SLAC's, it's called the SLAC Klystron Gallery, and that is a particle accelerator over at the University of Stanford along the California coast. This thing is a linear accelerator, which means it's 2 miles long. It's not round. And I guess this thing has been there since 1962. Unbelievable. Going back to this article here, number 3, particle accelerators are the closest things we have to time machines, according to Stephen Hawking. And it makes you wonder, building something this big, if they aren't maybe trying to manipulate time. I don't know. That is an enormous, enormous machine. Number 4, the highest temperature ever recorded by a man-made device was achieved in a particle accelerator, 7.2 trillion degrees Fahrenheit. That is a Guinness Book of World Records record. Number 5, the inside of the Large Hadron Collider is colder than outer space. Outer space being on average negative 454.9 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest they've ever gotten, the LHC, was negative 456.3 degrees, or negative Fahrenheit. So that's almost 2 degrees colder than the vacuum of space. Number 6, nature produces particle accelerators much more powerful than anything man-made on Earth. Number 7, particle accelerators don't just accelerate particles, they also make them more massive. Number 8, the diameter of the first circular accelerator was shorter than 5 inches. The diameter of the Large Hadron Collider is more than 5 miles. And the new one that they're proposing will be more than 10 miles wide. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But they've been around for quite a long time. In the 1970s, scientists at Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory employed a ferret named Felicia to clean accelerator parts. They ran a ferret through some of these long tubes that they couldn't get into to de-dust them and get some of the particles that they didn't want in there out of there using a ferret. Number 10, particle accelerators show up in unlikely places. Scientists tend to construct large particle accelerators underground to protect them from being bumped and destabilized. But they can also make them a little harder to find. For example, motorists driving down Interstate 280 in Northern California may not know it, but the main accelerator at SLAC runs underground just beneath Interstate 280. And that's this one right here that extends over 2 miles, or it's right at 2 miles long, at Stanford University. And that right there is the interstate. So these things are all over the place. In fact, there's another one we're at over obviously in Geneva, Switzerland. Cornell University also has one too, that apparently they play soccer and football above that accelerator. So these things are all over the world. They were planning on building one in Tokyo, but for whatever reasons, this was an article that goes back to 2013, they were going to build one over just north of Tokyo in Japan. That was a linear one, just over 2 miles long, something similar to the one that's in Stanford. But for whatever reasons, this one even had a name and everything. It got scrapped here at the last minute, and it was just scrapped this year, or actually last year, just a few months ago, December 19th of 2018, the article came out. So actually, just a little over a month ago, they decided against building this one in Japan for whatever reasons, and went with building a bigger one around the current LHC. So incredible story. I found some of these facts about accelerators quite interesting. I did not know some of those. And there were over 30,000 worldwide. That's incredible. And they've been around for a long, long time studying these elusive little particles. And they use these really big machines that have an uncanny resemblance, or at least the doorways do, to the ancient Mayan or the Aztec calendar from long, long ago. Uncanny resemblance when they completed the LHC. But these things have been around for a long, long time. Looks like they're going to be around in the future for a long, long time, and they're going to get even bigger. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day, and be safe out there.